Hello, and welcome to a brand new City Skylines series. This is Rochester. In this episode, I'll be creating the map for Rochester using real-world terrain data, starting some of the basic map details, and to finish off the video, I'll be creating the High Falls Waterfall seen in downtown. This is my second project related to Rust Belt City recreation and revitalization. I started this channel about 6 months ago to showcase and apply fixes to Rust Belt cities all across North America. For this series, I plan to take the city of Rochester and create a heavily detailed, modded recreation of the city to simulate positive city planning changes. You may have seen my current Pittsburgh, PA series, which I've been working on since January of 2022. I've linked that above if you're interested in checking that out. For now, I'm importing the terrain data from Skydark.pl to get started creating the Heightmap in the map editor. I use the mod Image Overlay 2 to help line everything up and create the city. Here, I'm just making sure my map aligns correctly with the terrain. One of the big factors that drew me into wanting to create this city project was its water features. I expect Lake Ontario and the Genesee River running through downtown to offer some unique challenges. Water is hard to get right in this game, making it more difficult to realistically recreate detailed rivers. But I'm excited for the challenge, and I think the results will be worth it. As I start to detail the map a little bit, let me just say I am by no means a map maker. I wouldn't even say that I know how to create maps very well at all, really. If you want some good map makers, I have some suggestions linked in the description below. I Can't Think of a Name and Teddy Radko are two creators in my Discord who create really amazing maps, and I definitely recommend checking out their workshop pages. For now, I'm just trying to get a basic outline of the map and some of the general features out of the way, like water lines, lakes, major forests, and beaches. At this point, this map won't even really function without mods. I'll try to get a save game up on the workshop shortly, and maybe at some point I'll even come back and lay out some basic functionality like highways and rail for a proper workshop post. But for the time being, I'm just going to play the game how I'm used to playing it, and for me, that's detailing specific areas one at a time. So you may notice the city doesn't function properly for a short while, but I will come back and eventually connect the highways and transit to create a realistic simulation of Rochester. For now, I'll leave you with some music, and I hope you enjoy the build time lapse for the Rochester map. I've mentioned my Discord server in a few of my prior videos, but if you're new to the channel, the Discord server is a great way to get even more content out of the series. I'm very active posting updates and behind-the-scenes content there, and it's a great way to get more involved with the projects I'm working on. We have a growing community of almost 100 other City Skylines players, asset creators, and content creators. If you want to see more, interact with the Rochester project, or just share your own cities with the group, feel free to join today with the link in the description below. Heading back to the city, I'm now outlining some of the downtown road network. For this, I'm using the 24-meter wide, 4-lane big US roads by Hockenheim 95. Of course later, I'll have to come back and update most of these roads with the proper lane amounts and configurations. I'm just taking this step now as it's quicker to adjust roads later on than to try to get everything perfect from the beginning. The city of Rochester is the third largest in New York behind Buffalo and New York City, and is home to around 200,000 people. It's also part of a greater metropolitan area in northern New York made up of around 1 million people. The city was one of the first American boom towns, with the Genesee River allowing for the city to grow in population and industrialize. Deindustrialization and the fall of manufacturing was a major turning point in the city, like many other Rust Belt cities. Today, Rochester is a city primarily supported by a highly educated workforce, working in the education and the technology industries. Rochester is also a vibrant cultural hub, known for its live music scene and world-famous museums like the George Eastman Museum of Photography and Film.
Your love's what I need. Your love is what I need.
This waterfall build was a really big factor for me wanting to get started recreating Rochester. A really unique feature of the city, I believe this waterfall is one of the most prominent urban waterfalls in any American city. At 29 meters tall, or 96 feet, High Falls is one of 3 major waterfalls on the Genesee River through Rochester, New York. Websites even sometimes rank it as the best urban waterfall in North America. With City Skylines, one of the major challenges of the game is water and trying to control it. Water functions as more of a jello-type substance in this game, and it's extremely difficult to control and do what you want with it. Sometimes it can completely break reality, clipping through terrain or shooting up into the air. This waterfall was one of those builds I was expecting to be very difficult because of the way water works in this game, but it actually turned out to be pretty manageable. I used some rock assets by Greyflame to get a sharper rock outcrop for the waterfall overhang. I then took some animated waterfall props and scaled them with PO to fit the falls. Later on, you'll see I go into the PO modules and add a steam effect to the bottom of the waterfall to simulate the mist from the falls. I used a ton of PO objects to create this waterfall, as well as a ton of detailed shrubs and plants, but overall I think it was still pretty lightweight asset-wise, and in my opinion it looks great when everything comes together at the end. As I mentioned earlier, I used the effects module in PO to add some steam to the bottom of the waterfall. I used the pull steam effect from the effects module, and I edited it to just make it a little bit taller. This does a decent job at recreating the mist that you would see at the bottom of a large waterfall. Now, I'm going back to detail the Genesee River as it passes through downtown. For this, there's no better asset than the Network Rivers by Mac Balshman. With these networks and the help of mods like Node Controller, Move It, and Network Multitool, I'm able to easily create a realistic urban river. Wrapping up today's build, I'm beginning work on the Gorsline Terrace Park. For my research, I found that this park overlooking the falls was somewhat of an infamous location. This park used to be home to the Gorsline building and was where the daredevil Sam Patch leapt for his final time in the 19th century. Sam Patch was famous for surviving a jump from Niagara Falls, and he chose this location to make his daring jump from on Friday the 13th in 1829. On his third attempt for the jump, as half of the city watched, he never resurfaced. Today, visitors can see the ledge where he leapt from, as well as get a good view of the falls from the overlook. Thank you for watching this episode of City Skylines Rochester. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing for more content like this in the future.
Wow.